Oh, so it says recording.
Yeah, it is recording now. Yeah. Yep.
So I need to take that off, don't I?
Do you know what?
Just let it go.
And let it go and I can edit it.
Okay.
And I'll just warn them.
All right, perfect.
Because you're going to have to edit out all this.
Are we talking, are we putting our mask down when we talk?
As you talk, yeah.
Okay.
I'll start editing.
Yeah.
I think I am.
Yeah, I think you are.
That's all right.
Hi, good evening to everyone. Just welcome to our sharing session for stage 3. We're going to start on time because we want to try and get through as much as we can. We just want to let you know that we're actually recording this session to put up onto the website, so you'll be able to access it any time and go back through it. But if you don't want to be recorded, just either switch off your screen or your voice and you should be fine. But most of what we'll be recording will be the conversations that go on. We're also just asking if you can wait to the end for questions, and we'll have a question section at the end to answer anything you have. Can I just get an indication that you can actually hear us, and maybe people quickly introduce themselves?
Hi, I'm Linda, Sam's mum.
Hi, Linda.
Colin, Charlotte's mum. Dad. No, mum. Dad.
Hi. If you even just want to put your picture on and wave, just so we know you can hear us. Okay, great. Thanks for that. Okay, so welcome to the 2022 school year. There's a slideshow going to come up, so everything that we're talking about will actually be there on the screen for you to be able to see. It's sad that we can't be in person, but hopefully in a few weeks that can change and we'll be able to actually meet people. What we're going to talk about tonight is just outline some of the organisation for stage 3 and let you know some of the activities that we're going to be doing. If you've been here before, it's probably going to sound very, very familiar because not a lot changes in stage 3. Hopefully at the end of the night, you're going to have a better understanding of what's going on. And if you have any questions, you can either ask them tonight or if not, just get in contact with your teacher. So at the moment, you should be able to see the slideshow on your screen. So first of all, we actually have 3 classes in stage 3 this year. We have a year 5, a year 6, and a 5-6. Now the year 5 class, which is 5 red, is Mrs. Borg's class, but she's also sharing that with Mr. Fitzgerald, who will be teaching on a Friday. This year, I'm only working 4 days at the school, and I'll be on 5-6 blue, and Mr. Bader will be taking that class for part of Friday, and then the rest is part of their sports time. You probably know where we are. We're on the same block we've been in for years. We're on stage 3 is on F block. We also have what used to be the computer lab, which is being revamped at the moment. And if you come in off Vega Street, it's pretty much the block of classrooms straight as you walk up past under the big cola for anyone that's not familiar with that. Okay, so we're going to share the presentation. So I'm going to hand over to Amelia, who's you can see behind us, and she'll take over the next bit.
Thank you. All right, so I'm Amelia Fitzgerald. For those that I haven't met, taught a few of your students before, but not many. So it's great to meet a lot of the students in stage 3. So I'm just going to quickly talk about the support that we have in stage 3. We've got lots of support across the school for students that need that extra help in things like reading, writing, for students with a language background other than English, and all of those things. In stage 2 and 3, we follow the multi-lit program for those that have any gaps in their literacy, reading, comprehension skills. Some students might be withdrawn for that if it's identified that they need that little bit of extra help, and that's a really effective evidence-based program. We also have teachers across the school coming in the mornings. Every morning, about 4 times a week, there'll be 2 teachers in the room working on students on those things that we find our students need extra support in. So what we're focusing on in stage 3, it's myself and Mr. Bader coming in the mornings. So we're focusing on things like reading, comprehension, writing, summarising, just starting off those skills that will really help them in high school. And that's what we'll be doing. That's most of the support that's happening in stage 3. Any questions, we're always open for any emails, but thank you very much for that support.
All right, hi everyone, my name is Nathan Bader. So as Teresa mentioned earlier, I'm sharing the class with her on 5-6 Blue for this year. Just want a quick mention on equipment and obviously the importance of making sure everything's labelled as you can. So thank you for taking the time to equip your child with the necessary equipment. Most children excuse me, have their equipment labelled, so it is easy to return it if something gets lost. But could you please also ensure that all your items of clothing and personal property are labelled for easy return in case something happens there as well. And if you already haven't, please assist us with sending your child in with some headphones or some earphones for any of our text support that we do. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Hello, my name is Sarah Borg and I am on 5 Red. I know a lot of you, but there's a few new people and families that I'm very excited to work with this year. So I'm actually looking at, next slide. How do I change it?
Sorry.
That's all right. Book coverings. Okay, so us as teachers will be starting to send home the books to be covered. Each teacher has got the students to do a cover on the book, and all it needs to be covered in is the clear contact. We understand that families are really busy and there's a lot going on. So when I know 5 Red, we're gonna send out at the end of the week. But when you do get those books, if by any chance you don't have time to cover those books, please do not stress out. But we do ask that you get your child to return them to school, because we do use them on a regular basis. So don't feel like I haven't covered them, I'll hold on to them, and just send them back, and we can organise another time that you can take, or your child can take them and have them covered. And we really appreciate your help in this area. I know covering books is not one of the most exciting things, but it just allows them to last a little bit longer. So thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm sure you're all familiar with me. My name is Hasten Mori, just in case you are not familiar with me. It's good to be back on stage 3 after a few years on stage 2. I'm going to be talking about technology, and I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with our Bring Your Own Device program. So we've embraced this approach for enriching the learning of students and teachers. Basically, we ask students to bring in an iPad to help support technology being taught and used in the classroom. And obviously we support our students to become digitally responsible cyber citizens. Now, whether you like technology or not, everyone's got their opinions on that. It is everyday life at the moment, and especially with these Year 6 kids going into high school next year, they will have to become even more familiar with it, going into things like research and problem solving through online ways. So why do we have Bring Your Own Device here at Revesby South? So first of all, it's implementing 21st century learning strategies, communication, collaboration, and creative skills. So as you know, over the past 10 to 15 years, technology has advanced in a number of ways, including in the classroom. And, you know, more so in the last couple of years, since we've had COVID and lockdowns, we've had kids having to learn at home, and technology has played a huge role in kids learning at home and using technology. So hopefully that doesn't happen again and we stay in the classrooms. It also enhances student learning experiences. So obviously researching topics. We also have STEM kits as well, which sometimes links up with certain parts of technology. We have increased student engagement. Some kids do learn better with technology. Access to learning anywhere, anytime. So we've got devices here at school where if students need to research particular topics, find pictures that might relate to creative arts, it's there, ready to be used and quite quickly. NAPLAN, for example, is online. It has been for the last few years. For Year 5 this year, both their writing and all writing, reading and maths is completed online these days. Students can take responsibility for their own learning. So we have another number of activities that where students have the responsibility to use technology appropriately and in the right way to support their own learning. It's a relevant tool in an age where technological skills are important. And I've already touched on that, where pretty much in every job out there, technology plays a role in some part. And again, as I touched on before, we are preparing them for high school. So the Bring Your Own Device initiative, students who do not bring an iPad to school will have access to the technology that we've got here. So unfortunately, we don't have enough iPads for every single person in the class, but we do have a small amount that could help in regards to group work. We do have a number of laptops as well, which students have access to, and amongst the Stage 3 teachers, we do share them across the week. And we do get a chance once or twice a week where we have all laptops available just to the one class. So the reason why we're asking if it's possible to bring an extra device in, that it just gives that extra support for the kids, for those that can use devices, and it makes things a little bit easier in the classroom. Obviously, we know that iPads and technology isn't cheap. And so we're not expecting parents to go out and buy the latest iPad. You might already have one, or obviously for homeschool learning, a lot of the kids already use some of those devices so they can bring those in to help with their learning, but don't feel that you need to go out and actually purchase a new iPad. They are to try and bring them in every day if they can, except for Fridays, and that's due to sport and PWSA. And they take their iPad home at the end of each school day. Now, we keep them inside the classroom, so the kids are expected, if they are to bring their iPads, to bring them in first thing in the morning and keep them until the bell at 3:15. Okay. Students who bring their own iPad must take full responsibility for their own device. Okay, so while we do everything possible to make sure that the iPads and their devices are kept safe, sometimes accidents do happen. We've only had 1 or 2 in the past, or since we've implemented this program. Yeah, we just make sure that the kids do bring them inside at the start of the day to keep them safe in the classroom. But unfortunately, the school doesn't take any responsibility for any loss, theft or damage to devices or the travel to and from school as well with their devices. Now, this is the tricky part. The wireless internet access is available within the classrooms for students to log in. I know a question that comes up mostly every year is, can we use or can we bring in Android devices, for example, Samsung tablets? For whatever reason, it could be a link between the department and Apple that the Android devices don't link up well with the Wi-Fi. I've got an Android device myself, and I can't really bring that to school because it doesn't connect. I think you can use the internet, but basically you can't use any apps. So we strongly encourage Apple products or iPads. We can bring in, or if you talk to your teacher, sometimes we have enabled students to bring their own laptop in as well. Charging facilities won't be provided at school, so it's important that if the kids are bringing their devices in, that they are charged overnight and fully charged for the day. We'll inspect any personal devices if there's reason to believe that there has been any inappropriate use of internet or apps. Okay. Appropriate use of technology. So obviously, there's so much out there at the moment in regards to surfing the internet and inappropriate content. So we take a close look at that and keep our eyes over the students. Anyone who is seen to be using technology in an inappropriate way will be banned, and that depends on exactly what they've been doing. Okay, so that ban could last for the week, could be the term, it could be longer than that. Okay, please discuss with your children. This is an important part because it has come up a little bit. It's in the news quite a bit. The impacts of inappropriate comments and cyberbullying. Okay, I think it's a very important topic to talk to your children about. We don't want to, deal with cyberbullying and have that affect the kids in school and their learning. And we also understand it does happen outside of school as well. So that's something that needs to be nipped in the bud straight away, so that it doesn't it's not brought into the school. If you need to contact your child during the day, please contact the office and not through their devices, iPads or even smartwatches now that where you can send messages and make phone calls. So for whatever reason, if you need to contact your child, please contact by the office, not through those devices which can be used. Is that still me? Yep, expectation matrix. Okay, so these are this is our technology rules. So for example, you can have a quick look at that. Again, this will be up there for you to have a look at, but in regards to iPads and laptops, be safe. There's a number of things there for students to look over in terms of being safe, being respectful and being an active learner. So have a look at that in more detail if you'd like, once that screen has been put up, or the presentation has been put up. Please, now, so there will, I forgot to mention, there is a note that will be given to students in the coming weeks, and this is the bring your own device note. So students aren't allowed to bring their device in unless they've been, their notes have been signed. So it's like a little bit of a contract to make sure that the kids are using the devices appropriately. And if they aren't, then there is a small or lengthy ban on using those devices. So that agreement has to be returned and signed by yourself and the children. All right, and we'll move on to excursions with Mrs. Borg.
Okay, So very exciting, and fingers crossed that we get to have our camp this year. The snowy camp has been rebooked in for this year. Term 3, week 1, dates to be confirmed. So I know that stage 3 teachers are very excited for it, and we know that the kids will be really excited for it. So we're really crossing fingers that that will go ahead. Again, the whole COVID situation, things are changing so rapidly and so frequently. Excursions will go ahead depending on whatever the COVID situation is at that time. And so it's just something that we will just be ongoing and managing due to the restrictions we've been placed, that have been placed on us. So excursions will take place later in the year, and they usually link up with a topic that we're studying in class with either science, geography or history. General excursions, we will attempt to do some general excursions to be advised. And like I said, the stage 3 camp, I think, is the big one that we really want to get the kids to have. You know, they need to have that and have that reward. A note outlining all the details in regards to camp will go home this term and require you to pay a deposit just to secure your spot, and also to help us finalise numbers and work out who is coming and what numbers we have. Yeah.
Great. Ready? Done?
What are you doing? You're checking my slide. There we go. Oh, no, I'm skipping. Right, it's me. That's excursions.
I actually forgot to introduce myself to those who don't know me. I'm Teresa Walsh. After 2 years off a class doing learning support, I'm actually back on class teaching the 5-6 composite, or the stage 3 class, and actually really enjoying it. So I'm very glad to be back. I'm also the AP for this stage, and often if there's an issue or a problem, especially with something that's worrying you, often it will come through me if you contact Chris, or if the teachers, they'll come and converse with me. Now, I get to do homework, which I think is the bane of all parents' life and all children's. Homework is not compulsory at Revesby South, okay? We don't evaluate it on the formal reports. We don't penalise children that don't do it. However, we do set it. And for our year 5 and 6, it's really important for them to start setting a time aside every night getting ready for high school, because when they hit high school, I can guarantee it will be compulsory and it will be quite a lot of it. So we're setting up homework for them to do, hoping that they get into the good habits of doing work each night and getting ready for high school. Okay. So our homework goes home once a fortnight. We'll send it out on the Monday and it's due in the following week on the Thursday. This allows children to have plenty of time to actually do some of the work. Some of the feedback we got earlier was that during weeknights, often people have training or they're going out to judo or something like that. There's got a lot on. So we're allowing them time to either spend on the weekend or of a night after school. So that gives a little bit of flexibility for parents and children in getting their homework finished. Now, one thing that we do really encourage is that they read every single night. We expect them to do between 60 and 90 minutes of homework, but a large part of that is reading. We like them to read 20 to 30 minutes every night, and if possible, read out loud so someone can actually hear them, because that improves their fluency and their understanding. And they get to pick what they read. It's reading for enjoyment. So if they want to read a magazine, they can read a magazine. If they want to go online and read some information, they can do that. If they want to build their reading into research or reading a novel, they can actually choose what it is they want to do. So every day we expect them to read. Yep, next one. We send it out fortnightly. We encourage the kids to actually set their work out neatly and to date it so we know when they're doing the homework, not to leave it all till the Wednesday night before it's due in, because they're not going to get through it. Within that homework, we have the reading activity. The other area that we really encourage is learning of their times tables, because without those times tables, if they're not fluent and able to answer a times table very quickly, it interferes with them being able to do calculations especially when they get to high school. If your child can't complete homework, then just let us know and it's not going to be a problem. No child gets in trouble for not doing homework. The other activities we do, there is also a grid that they'll have access to. So within, they'll get a one-page sheet. On the top, they have their spelling words. Now, not all children learn all the words, but we set them up there so they can actually see, and you as parents can see how many words we're looking at and what the type of words are. Children will be told how many they need to learn. There'll be a column with focus words that all children will learn some words from. Theme words which relate to the topics we're learning about. And for those, it's really important that they not only know how to spell them, but they can understand them and use them because it will help them comprehend the concepts we're teaching. The final one is an extension column for those kids that get all the ones right in the focus ones. They don't keep learning the ones they already know. They then move across to the extension ones. And one of the activities is always to, if possible, at the start of the 2 weeks, test the kids on the words and find out which ones they don't know, and they're the ones that they actually focus on. Also within there is a reading activity. Sometimes it might be written out on the sheet or say refer to the activity grid, and each child will have it on their Google Classroom, but more importantly, they'll also a hard copy to go into their books. How you present your work will vary between classes. I know in my class, I'm encouraging the use of books because one of the areas that kids are struggling with is actually setting out work in books and writing. And once they hit high school, once again, they're going to be expected to be able to do a lot of writing. There'll also often be an active homework activity so that they can actually go out and do something. It might be make a meal, it might be organise a fitness activity, it might be doing artwork, but we try to give them things that they're going to be interested in as well. Just make sure their work's nicely neatly done. They'll have grids that have a multiplication on that they're also asked to check and mark using a calculator because that helps them develop calculating skills. But also then if they've made mistakes, they can go back, check it and go straight onto it. So that's pretty much about the homework. And if you've got any questions about it or you're concerned about children not understanding it, just give us a quick call or even send us an email and we'll try and sort it out with them here. But we do go through the homework with them before they come home each week. I'm now going to hand you over to Haysom and he'll talk about notes and money coming in.
Okay, hello again. Notes and money. So notes and money is to be returned to the classroom teacher in the morning. We take money every day, Monday to Friday. Please note though that the due dates on these notes is kind of strict because we've got the new financial system which doesn't allow for late payment. So if you see a note come home, I know there was one sent home today about the Year 6 t-shirts, try and stick to that or try and pay before that date as it is quite hard to take any late payments. And please also have the school bag app, Reesby South school bag app installed on your phone. All the notes and notifications will go out onto that app as well. In regards to payments, there's a few ways to pay. You can pay by cash, and please make sure that cash goes into an envelope as well, check. Or if you're like me and don't carry cash around, you can pay online via the school website. So just go onto the Reesby South Public School website and there is a little tab at the top of the page that does say make a payment. Okay.
Okay, education.
Yep. So we've got a note went out, I think it was early this week, but no, it would have been last week, sorry. School contributions and educational costs note, which has gone home. Please try and make these payments as soon as possible. This includes some of the books that we've had to purchase for the kids and a few other resources for the students here at Reesby South.
Okay, that's me. Okay, high school placements. I know this is for Year 6, but I think it's something we need to touch on during this meeting. There have been some changes to boundaries for the high schools, and one of the biggest changes that's come through is that if you are in area for a single-sex school, you'll also be offered a placement in a co-ed high school. So you'll get 2 choices. You'll actually get the application sheet coming home, and on that sheet will already be written the high school that you are in area for. And if you are in a single-sex high school area, the co-ed school that you can apply for. They'll come home later this term, and please read it carefully and fill in if you're going straight to that high school, there's very little information that you need. But if you're applying for a placement in another high school, then you need to have supporting documentation to help you get in there. So please read it really carefully and think about what you might need to put in there to give your child the best chance to get the placement that you want. And once they're filled in, they need to come back to school on time, because especially if you're applying for a placement out of area, we send them in at a certain time and you go onto a waiting list. So if you don't have it in on time, then your application will go down towards the bottom, because the others will already have been sent into the high school. Okay, we're now up to media and information with Mr. Morey.
Me again. All right. So, look, if you want to find out any information here at the school, there's a number of ways to do so. I've already mentioned the School Bag app. So if you haven't done so already, download the School Bag app and look for our school, Revesby South Public School. In there, you'll get all your information, alerts, notifications, notes, and things like that. Also, our website. If you're not sure of the website, just type in Revesby South Public School into Google. Should be the first link that comes up. There's a number of information on there as well, and the things that we do at this school. And we also have a Facebook page. So if you're on social media, join or like Revesby South Public School, and we also put up some information. We might even put photos up of excursions or camps, and keep you in touch, especially with camp, in terms of what time our arrival might be back from a camp or an excursion. Just please note that if you haven't given permission to publish for your student, that we will do everything possible not to have your student publish onto the website or Facebook pages. Okay, so if you're unsure about that, just double check with the office. Moving on to Nathan.
Hi again, everyone. So quick talk about school welfare. So our students have school rules to follow in and out of the classroom. They are expected to adhere to the school discipline policy. A timeout space within the classroom will provide a quiet space away from other children and offer a place for the child to reflect on his or her behaviour. This is reflected also in the playground again this year, with a quiet area allocated under the cola for children not demonstrating the expected behaviour. The behaviour matrix is available on the school website for further details. If you need to find anything else out there, please check it out. Thank you.
Mel will do it next. Yeah, you're doing uniform, I think.
You're doing merit system.
Yeah, uniform.
Just very quickly on the merit system. So yes, there may be students who get into trouble, but there's also students who are rewarded. So as you can see there, we've gone back to the normal stripes to succeed numbers for awards. So students who receive 3 awards move into a bronze award, a further 3 awards, 6 in total. A student will receive a silver award, and then a further 4 awards, 10 in total. A student will receive a gold award. Okay, and these will be recognised at our school assembly. And we also put those names in a friendly link newsletter as well. Just please note that students will need permission to publish to be placed in this newsletter. We also do have a gold assembly award for those students who do achieve the gold award towards the back end of the year. Okay, so that is all embedded into our school rules for be safe, be respectful, and be an active learner. And those are our classroom rules, which are displayed not only in our classroom, but also out in the playground in various areas. So for example, action may be taken by the school if deemed necessary when students not meet the school's expectations. Okay, most disciplinary action is minor and requires a student to sit out for a short time to reflect under the playground cola area. So we have a leveled system. So students who receive a yellow level, usually it's a one day where they're not allowed to play other than inside the cola area. And then there's the orange level, which is 3 days off, and then a red level, which sometimes requires, does require 5 days off the playground, but also sometimes requires a phone call and a further discussion with parents and the students. At times, teachers need to take other factors into consideration, such as their age, maturity, and any disability and developmental level of the student when deciding upon any action. And usually we'll discuss that as a staff. So if there's an incident that I'm dealing with, for example, with a student from another class, obviously I will be talking to that teacher or their teacher, and anything further we need to take, we can talk to Miss Walsh, who is also the AP. Okay. Yeah, so have a read of that if you need to. So just on rare occasions, the school may follow more serious disciplinary action. As I said, we may have a meeting with parents, with the AP or the principal. So it's just important that parents are aware of any issues. So if anything's happening at home, please feel free to contact us and just let us know so that we're aware of, something that may have happened. It could be a family matter that may affect the child here at school, as an example. So communication is key. So yeah, please do let us know. And the full policy can be found on the school website. And these are our levels that we were talking about. So usually what we do before we put a student on a level, we look at the action that they have made. And obviously they start with minor actions, moving into more dangerous actions. And there's a criteria that we follow when deciding what level to put a student on. So everyone starts on the green level, and then there's usually a warning going into a yellow level, orange and red, and depending on the problem that occurs.
Okay.
All right, just a quick note on uniform. So students are expected to be wearing full school uniform, of course, with sports uniforms on Fridays and any special specified days like carnivals or excursions when it says to wear the sports uniform. Our school uniform policy is on our school website, the Revesby South website. Orders can be placed online through the website, or you can contact the school office if you have any questions about any uniform issues. There is a uniform shop near the Cola as well. We have a no hat, no play policy at our school just for sun safety reasons. So please ensure your child has a school hat with them. So the Revesby South hat, which can be purchased through our uniform shop. Any hair accessories need to be in school colours. Students need to be wearing plain white socks that come above the ankle, black school shoes worn Monday to Thursday, and plain black or white sport shoes. That's our uniform policy. Nail polish and jewellery is not part of our school uniform, so we discourage students from wearing nail polish or jewellery, as often jewellery can easily be lost, bracelets can be broken, things like that. So we need to be aware of that. We want to minimise any special jewellery being lost or broken. And of course, students can wear a small stud or sleeper in their ear, and that is part of our policy. That's it on uniform.
Okay, Sarah.
Okay, I'm going to be talking about absences. So there's a few key things that I'll mention with this, but as we go, we'll explain them. So regular attendance is compulsory for every student, while parents are legally responsible for the regular attendance of their children. School staff, as well as their duty of care, record and monitor part and whole day absences. And I just think it's so underestimated how much it impacts your child's learning when they have high rates of not attending school. It really does. And it's so important just to get them into school. Obviously, in current climates, if they're feeling sick, keep them at home. So due to COVID-19 and cold and flu symptoms shown means that children must be kept home and they must be COVID tested. So again, like with the current situation, things are always changing. So through websites and school bag, they're the ways that will kind of let you know any changes to these situations. But for the moment, you need to be testing, and students can return once they receive a negative test. On the next slide, I'll talk a little bit more about if your child gets COVID. In the event your child is sick and unable to attend school, you must, by law, provide an explanation, and that can be done again through school bag or just writing a handwritten note to your child's teacher, and that should be within 7 days of the first day within 7 days of them being absent. Or a telephone call is sufficient as well, because the office will then let us know that a call has been made about your child's absence. It's really important that it's justified. School commences at 9:15 a.m. If your child is late, parents must take their child to the office to receive a late note before returning to class. It's really, really important that, you know, your child starts the day on a really good note. And I know as adults ourselves, if we're feeling like we're rushed or pushed, we kind of feel like we're chasing our tails for the rest of the day. It's like the kids, if they can't get in here really calmly and get all the morning messages, it can throw their whole day out. So it's really important that they are here on time and they're here for all the morning admin messages and things like that. If your child is complaining of a headache or a tummy ache, please follow up. Don't fall into the trap of keeping them at home. Please remain positive about school with your child. So, you know, kids will be kids, and they'll say that they have a sore stomach, and generally parents can pick when they're, you know, trying to sneak a day off or not. But, and again, current climate, we have to be even, you know, more careful with that. But just really, you know, school is, you know, especially Revesby South is such a beautiful school, beautiful community. We have amazing teachers and students here. We want our students to know that this is such a positive place, and we don't want them to ever feel like that they can't come and enjoy their time here every day of the week. Now, in regards to, well, I'll flick over. In regards to COVID, now, if you have had COVID, you do not have to test for 28 days after having COVID. So if your child does become positive with COVID and your child tests positive, then they will obviously isolate, and then they'll isolate for 7 days. And then when they return to school, they don't have to test for 28 days. And that is because sometimes during testing straight after the virus, you can still get a false negative when it's just still in your system. So if you have COVID, 7 days, quarantine, isolate, and then you don't have to test for the next 28 days. But then after that, and again, I don't know whether that will change, but we're encouraging people to test twice a week. If you are unfortunate to have a family member in, you know, contract COVID and your child is a close contact, they are required to isolate for 7 days. And so during that 7 days, if they're a close contact, we have sent home some paper booklets of work for those students who may not have access to a device at home, but they can still do a little bit of work while they do their 7 days isolation. We also have work going up in our Google Classrooms that your child can check in on. And I know myself, and I know the other classes, we can communicate really well with your child through Google Classroom. Plus, they all have their teachers' emails. So if they have any questions, they can contact us. Now, if your child has COVID, please don't push them to do schoolwork. Let them have that time to just get themselves better and rest and, you know, and get over it, because we don't want to be having kids being sick and feeling obligated to stay on top of the work. When they're sick, they're sick. But if you are isolating due to having a close contact in the family and your child feels like has no symptoms, then by all means, we've provided digital as well as a paper pack. So we're hoping that covers everyone. Again, if you have any concerns or any issues, please contact via email or phone to your classroom teacher, and we will be more than happy to help you. But fingers crossed, it won't be a topic that we have to discuss too often. All right.
Well, that brings us to the end of what is probably information overload for most of you. However, we have given you a lot of information, and you're probably wondering how much of it are you going to remember. The slideshow's there for you to refer back. But more importantly, if you've got questions, just contact your classroom teacher. They're more than likely to know whatever it is that you want to know. If not, then we know where to go to find out. The other thing is just when you do email, just be aware that when we're actually at school, we may not get to emails throughout the day, or we may not get to a phone because so many other things are happening. We're not avoiding you. It just takes us a bit of time sometimes to get to the emails, read them, and then to get to answer them all. If it's something really, really urgent, your best way is probably through the front office to ring them and say that you need to talk to us urgently, and they pass that message on to us, and we try to get, and usually we will ring then rather than email to find out what you need to talk to us about. So that brings us to an end, but we need to have question time, and anything we can't answer tonight, which just depends on what we're getting asked, we will go away, try and find out and let you know. And back to you, I think we can